Good evening and thank you very much. How do you get more productive at work? This is an area that all of us want to achieve in our daily work life. So I thought this is something that would interest all of us. And in this 15 minutes I'll try and summarize some things that I have been able to put forth ever since I left the industry and became an entrepreneur, and how it has helped me become a successful professional. So as we move on, I think the biggest challenge that all of us face is how do you manage time, right? How many of us follow calendar meeting kind of a system on our system or on a phone? So out of about 18-20 of us, there are just 4-5 who do it. Why don't the others follow this practice? Any idea? Any thoughts?
I don't understand the question. Is it like...
So all of us have laptops, all of us work on laptops, we have Microsoft Outlook or any of the calendars that you can put in. So what I wanted to ask was, how many of us are in the habit of putting appointments and meetings in the calendar? But what is it that stops us from not using the calendar? If you do it, yeah. So one simple tool that can make life easy for all of us, if we can use, it is there on Yahoo, it is there on Gmail, Outlook, all mail systems have a calendar available. It can also be synced to your mobile. So one thing that helps is if you are able to put down your meetings, your scheduled meetings. The moment you set it up, you know in a day how busy you are and what hours are available to you to do other stuff, rather than getting into a rush. And typically, if you are able to plan your week much in advance, I also learned it with a lot of practice. It will show you how productive your week can become at the end of the day.
And to add to it, Anshumal, there's also a new feature nowadays in apps and in sites of airlines and railways and all. They put that thing automatically in your calendar.
Yeah.
And your mobile will get an alert.
Yeah.
So that you have to go for your flight or you have to go for this meeting.
Yeah.
It automatically gives you an email plus it gets your calendar also.
Right. So if you are able to schedule your meetings, your day properly, well in advance, you will find that it gives you a lot of freedom to have your free time available. And one small request, let us keep the questions towards the end, right? So it will give you a lot of freedom to play around with your daily schedule. And it will also tell you in a day, if I have a meeting from 11 to 12, when can I travel and meet outside or can have a visitor somewhere? Number one. Number two, a to-do list. Something that I picked up very late in life was to have a to-do list, and I still carry pocket notes in my jacket or in my shirt of what are the things that I need to do in a day. At times you may tell somebody that okay, I'll speak to you in the evening at 7 p.m. By the time you reach home, you have forgotten and he has actually forgotten, and that goes out of your system. Morning you call up somebody, 11 o'clock he says I'm busy, let's talk in the evening. If you don't make a note, that is gone. Practically with so much of information overload, you cannot remember everything. So that to-do list, one in the morning, something that you can scribble on a piece of paper and keep it with you, or your diary or your whatever, and something that when you are leaving, what is it that you could have done but you haven't done, and your to-do list for the evening once you reach home or the next day. Number three, when I coach people and I do this exercise and I make them do a work log for a week, saying what time do you get up, how much time do you spend on reading the newspaper, at the end of the week people come back and say I waste so much of my time. I was coaching a very senior person last week, and he said I have been talking to friends from my previous company for hours together. I said what was the reason? 2 hours on an average every day. 2 hours. And then we discovered that he has not been able to get out of the previous job mentally. He's in between jobs. And then he himself realized, so it is more of you yourself becoming aware. But if you do a log of your daily activities, you'll find out what time do you get up, how much time are you actually putting use to something productive, and how much time are you wasting on a daily basis. All of us do it. We don't realize it. And at the end of the day, we come back and say, I could not achieve much. Finding out the time wasters, and also at the end of the day, carrying a daily planner. If you have a small planner, you can make a note on a daily basis, calls to be made, meetings, if you are not an electronics person, gadgets person, a small hard copy planner also helps. And it's a great way to get some structure in your day, in your life. When all of us get into meetings, when we are sitting in meetings or we are organizing meetings, a lot of times we don't have an agenda for a meeting. We may have a broad theme for a meeting, but a lot of times we don't know what all are we going to discuss. It's a short meeting killer. We don't have time limits for a meeting. 3 o'clock we put in a meeting calendar invite, we don't know what time it will end. A lot of good things that can be learned. Try and circulate the meeting agenda to the members before the meeting, not in the meeting. And get an update from these people before the meeting starts. Otherwise, if you have a 1 hour meeting, 45 minutes will be spent just on getting updates from everybody. Where are they and what have they done? If you can summarize the status update from everybody before the meeting, have a summary sheet in the meeting and say this is where we are. Whatever things that have been done is fine. Whatever has not been done, that can be shared in the meeting. Something, when you are ending a meeting, always ensure that you have 2 things in place for sure. One is the next day when the next meeting will be held, the date and time and the venue. So details for the next meeting and something on a small action plan for the next meeting. Now this action plan is very simple. You can just list out the items that have to be completed, right? Who will be responsible for completing these items, the names of the person and the timelines. 3 things if you capture, your meeting is summarized. Thank you so much.